Mindfulness is pretty simple, actually, and the best part is that you already know everything you need to know to practice this life-changing skill. Okay, yeah, meditation and mindfulness sounds great and all, but I just don't have time for it. Does that sound familiar? If so, you're not alone. I've personally used that excuse countless times. The problem is that we've been led to believe that if we want to reap all the benefits we keep hearing about, we basically have to either chuck it all and move to an ashram, or at the very least, meditate for a minimum of 2 hours per day. But luckily, that couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is that mindfulness is pretty simple, actually, and the best part is that you already know everything you need to know to practice this life-changing skill. Mindfulness is simply giving our full attention to the present moment without judgment or attachment. It doesn't require effort. In fact, it requires the cessation of effort. You can't force yourself into calmness and presence. You have to surrender to it. You don't have to be mindful all the time, and you probably don't want to be anyway. But the trouble is that we usually live in a state of complete mindlessness. Instead of consciously deciding whether we're being mindful, we're always living our lives on autopilot, lost in the fantasies of our minds. We're worried about that thing we forgot to do, or worried that we did the wrong thing or said the wrong thing, or worried about something we might do wrong in the future. The mind never stops. This is the opposite of calm, yet we're so accustomed to it that we'll choose it over the peacefulness and equanimity that mindfulness brings. We've become familiar with the suffering of mindlessness. In contrast, mindfulness is a process of observing the mind's natural activity without interference. The magic of a meditation practice is that moment where we notice that our mind has wandered and we gently bring it back to the point of our awareness. Each time we catch ourselves and redirect our attention is another rep that strengthens our mindfulness muscle. Meditating 2 minutes a day is enough for us to have this insight. If you're anything like me, you'll catch your mind wandering more times than you can count in just that short time period. But why only do that while meditating? Why not practice that same skill when we're just going about our day? The mind won't stop regardless of what we do, so if we make the intention to be mindful throughout the day, we'll get better at catching the mind and give ourselves the power to decide if we want to go along with it or not. Meditation isn't a requirement for paying attention to the present moment. We don't have to do anything to be mindful. All we have to do is stop. Stop for a second and listen. Stop and feel your breath or feel your heartbeat. Can you even feel your heartbeat? It's always there. Perhaps you can notice how the body breathes or the heart beats all by itself without your input. You can pause and notice what's around you and take it all in with your senses. Notice what sensations are arising within you. And of course, you can notice how quickly the mind jumps in with commentary whenever you try to have these moments of peace and quiet. The reason the mind always jumps in is because it wants to create a sense of control over your experience. That's why we're so distracted all the time. It's not that our mind isn't working properly, it's working exactly as designed. It's just that we've given it a job it's not suited for. No matter how much the mind jumps in with commentary, it can never control what happens out there, and it can't control what happens within us either. All the thoughts and negative emotions we don't allow ourselves to experience are also dutifully suppressed by the mind. Anytime there's silence, we're afraid that those things we've buried deep within us will bubble up. So our mind does the job we've given it and keeps chatting along to keep us distracted and in control. In fact, A series of experiments that asked participants to sit alone with their thoughts for about 10 minutes showed that a significant number of them would rather give themselves a mild electric shock instead of simply sitting there and being with themselves. Is our inner world really that scary? For a lot of people, the answer is yes. And if so, we will talk about how to unpack and renegotiate our traumas in an upcoming video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. But for now, just start by making that decision and intention to be mindful every day. All of the things you already do day in and day out are the perfect opportunity to practice mindfulness. When we eat, we can take each bite mindfully and notice the aroma and the flavors of our food, as well as what thoughts and emotions arise within us as we eat. Perhaps it's joy and pleasure, but for some of us it might be guilt. We don't have to do anything with what arises. We simply have to notice. While we're walking, we can notice the physical sensation of our feet on the ground as we take each step. We can feel the breeze we create as our bodies move forward, and we can notice the sights, sounds, and smells around us rather than getting caught up in the wandering of the mind. While you can do this while taking a walk in the park, there's no reason you can't do it while walking around the grocery store or even around your own house. When we're having a conversation, we can get lost in our mind and think about what we're going to say next, or we can set the intention to be present and give the other person our full attention. We can consistently and gently bring our attention back to their words and try to notice their tone of voice or the emotions behind their words. The essence of spirituality is learning how to get out of our own way, of letting what arises within our awareness come and go without latching onto it. This goes for what happens externally as well as internally, with our thoughts and emotions. Remember that it's normal for the mind to wander. That's what the mind does. But mindfulness can help you detach from the melodrama of the mind. Approach this practice with humility and compassion for yourself and allow your mindfulness muscle to develop at its own pace. Catching yourself even once during the course of the day is still miles better than not catching yourself at all. So count that as a win. Over time, you will notice that this simple practice enhances your focus and concentration, improves your ability to withstand stress, and improves overall well-being. As you begin to create a sense of separation between your thoughts and emotions and the awareness that experiences them, you can extrapolate that skill to all areas of your life, allowing you to remain centered even while the world around you is in complete disarray. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And make sure to check the description for more resources. Until next time, safe travels.